Hello, everybody. It's Tracy Lewin and
Peter Murray. Good day, Tracy.
Hi there, Peter. Today is a very different day because today we're going to be teaching people about Bitcoin.
We're going to teach people about Bitcoin. The Bitcoin market is very exciting, and we've had so many questions on our webpage and on our Facebook page and Facebook messages of people that want to have more information on Bitcoin. So we've decided that we are going to teach people.
Correct, because at the end of the day, this is a huge opportunity to change your financial status. But the first thing that you need to do is really educate yourself and know what's going on, because this is so different.
Well, let us tell you what we're going to do. We are going to create a series of videos that will be free training that you guys can follow, and you will be able to get a complete Bitcoin education. We're going to go through and really start right from the beginning, explaining what Bitcoin is and all those type of things, and right to getting you some very advanced information. And all you have to do is you have to just follow us. So to get updated on the next video coming out, it's very important that you get on your mailing list. So if you go to the description of this video or on the blog, you'll see a thing that says get a free copy of the Bitcoin Believers Manifesto. Just click on that, enter your email address, and you'll be on your mailing list. You'll get the manifesto for free, which is a nice document in itself. And it will, but also more importantly, you'll be on your mailing list, and you'll be informed when any of our new videos come out, and you will get a free Bitcoin training. You don't have to pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars to go learn from other people. We are going to teach you right here on the BitMedia channel for the magnificent price of absolutely zero.
Well, that sounds good to me. I must say it's something that I couldn't refuse. And very often, you get there's a lot of information on the internet, but what is right, what is wrong, what is the understanding around it. So really, we hope to take people through it so that they after watching a video, they actually know what it's all about, and they can also go backward and watch it again.
Well, Tracy, I just want to tell people this is not going to be entirely free, because they have to do something for us. And there's three things you need to do for us. Number one is you need to like our Facebook page. Number two is you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And number three is you need to share those with your friends and family so that we can give everybody a free Bitcoin education.
Excellent. So, Peter, let's kick this off.
Yes.
Right. What is Bitcoin? This is the $1 million question.
Is it the $1 million question yet?
Well, I think it's actually more than $1 million.
Well, I've told people many times, because I've had this question many times, Bitcoin is a computer program. Just like email is a computer program, Bitcoin is not something funny that was created out of thin air. It's actually a computer program that's written on the internet, and it's distributed amongst a network of computers, people that are running what they call the Bitcoin client, which is the underlying program that enables the thing to work. And that's created is a computer program that creates a digital currency or digital money with a new payment system where you can pass value from one person or one computer directly to another computer via the internet without any cost at all.
It's incredible, Peter. It really, really is. And this was an amazing invention and a gift to the world.
It was a gift to the world. It was created in 2009, and and Bitcoin has, since that time, Bitcoin has just totally been growing. It works on a consensus system. So everybody that runs the client has to agree on every single, make sure that every payment that happens or every transaction that happens gets verified. So yeah, it's a very interesting system, and very cost effective, and very user friendly at the moment.
Yes. And I was just going to say, it's what somebody, or what you can call open source. Now, open source means that there's lots of hands and lots of eyes on Bitcoin.
Correct. In other words, what happens is every transaction is actually added to every new transaction is actually added onto this program to all the other transactions that's already taken place. And every time people update their client, it actually updates the whole program. So all the transactions are there for everybody to see forever. So it actually creates a very transparent system where all the transactions are verified and all the transactions are documented and can never be erased. You can go back to the first Bitcoin transaction if you want to, and to see from which address to which address that was sent and the amount. So that's very interesting. Yes.
Excellent. And, you know, there's been a lot of question to, you know, lately about who actually created it. But, you know, and there are some people that are putting their hands up and saying they did it, but they don't want to send the proof. But the name that we actually know is Satoshi Nakamoto.
That is correct. You know, this the guy that actually wrote the original code and published it. But at the moment, nobody controls or owns the Bitcoin network. It's really running on a network of computers where people upload the client and they update this client by consensus. And that means that it's impossible for anybody to force a change in the Bitcoin protocol. And because every user can actually choose which version of the software they want to run. But in order to stay compatible, all users need to use software complying with the same rules. And that is where the verification system comes in. And Bitcoin works on complete consensus amongst all users. And also that creates a very, very strong incentive for all users and developers to actually protect this consensus.
So Bitcoin actually isn't a business, so it doesn't belong to one particular person.
No, Bitcoin doesn't belong to one particular person. There's many what they so-called altcoins, or alternative coins that's been created after Bitcoin. Most of them are controlled by some central body, or you'll see if you follow our news channel that many of the central banks and stuff are building their own cryptocurrencies or cryptocurrency software that are very compatible with Bitcoin, but it's actually then owned by that bank or by that organization or whatever. It's almost like in the old days when you had the internet and every organization had an intranet, which was just for the organization internally. So there's a lot of that development taking place as well. But ultimately, the one that grows would be the internet, because that's the one that everybody can use and it's open to the public and to everybody else. So that's why Bitcoin has been outgrowing. If you look at the value of Bitcoin, Bitcoin's value is more than all the alternative coins combined, much more.
Yes, exactly. No, it's incredible, and that's where we're seeing the growth. And in fact, they're saying that there's, you know, there's a lot of talk between Bitcoin and blockchain, and the fact is that they go together.
Yes, and also, you know, there's not a question we have on here. I'm not sure if it comes later on, but let's address it now. People ask, you know, a lot of times, what is the blockchain? The blockchain is really every transaction that's documented on the Bitcoin program creates a chain of events. So event number one, then transaction number two is event number two, and so on and so on. And the blockchain is really those events broken up into parts and molded together in a pattern that can be documented. And so every block has a certain size, and there's a certain number of transactions in that block, and then a new block is created. And all these blocks are added together to form a chain of events that are chronologically staggered, so that you can actually follow those chain of events if you go back, and it's forever saved as a digital file on you know, on many computers. And it's also the reason why it's impossible to erase is you've got to find every single computer in the world that runs the Bitcoin client, and there are millions, and you've got to actually erase every client if you ever want to erase the blockchain. So it's virtually impossible.
Impossible. So whatever goes onto the blockchain is there for good.
It's the ultimate backup system.
Yes, the ultimate.
Everything is backed up a multi-million times. Yes.
So, you know, why is Bitcoin actually called deflationary? And probably the answer is the fact that the amount of Bitcoin ever to be created is only going to be 21 million.
That's right. That's right. You know, in a normal inflation means that there's a continuous increase in a supply or continuous increase in prices. Bitcoin has a continuous decrease in supply. The supply decreases at a constant rate every 4 years. And, you know, so this is the only currency in the world that have no central bank that are printing more and more money. So, yes.
Well, that is definitely a huge plus. And that's why
Yes.
the price is actually going to soar.
Yeah. Well, just, you know, before we go on too much about the price, Trace, I just wanted to mention something. I think from, you know, one of the questions is, how does Bitcoin work from a user perspective? And most users will know Bitcoin, that is just something like a mobile app that they will open on their either on their smartphone or their tablet or their computer, which will give them a personal Bitcoin wallet that they can use to send and receive Bitcoins with. And this is how Bitcoin works for most users that are not developers. The blockchain and all the other stuff are really things that happens behind the scenes.
Yes, absolutely. And it's very simple, because really Bitcoin is like sending an email.
I think, you know, if you stay tuned to this channel, we will make a video later on teaching people how to actually open a Bitcoin wallet and how to send Bitcoin from one person to another. You know, the big issue we wanted to address in this video is frequently asked questions about the origin of Bitcoin, how it works, how it's controlled. You know, the questions we have on this presentation is what we want to cover. But we'll actually have some, you know, tutorials on how to open a wallet and how to, you know, send Bitcoin from one user to another, so that our training is really interactive as well, and people can actually just follow it and use it.
Yes. So one of the other questions, of course, you know, everybody wants to make money. And that's the first thing that they say, you know, how can they grow their wealth? How can they make money with Bitcoin?
Well, the thing is, the easiest way to make money with Bitcoin is to actually just, you know, is to actually ask somebody to pay you in Bitcoin. If you're providing a service or you have a job, you can, there's companies in Europe now that pay their employees with Bitcoin. And that is you know, one of the ways that you can actually make money with Bitcoin. The other obvious way is to just own Bitcoin and buy it and, you know, wait for the capital appreciation. As we've said, is we've got a currency here with inelastic supply. The supply keeps going down all the time, and the demand is increasing. And you know, so it's very, if you just hold on Bitcoins, naturally over time, the price should increase because of the economic factors.
Yes.
That is the thing. But Bitcoin is an emerging technology, so you could also make money in other ways, such as speculation in Bitcoin. You can trade, you can buy and sell Bitcoins. You can actually start a Bitcoin business if you wanted to. That's another way to earn money with Bitcoin. And you can also get into something called Bitcoin mining. Mining is the process by which new Bitcoins are created. And I don't think we really explained that. I don't know if you want to explain that a little bit more, Tracy, what mining is.
Well, mining is, there's something called a miner, and a miner is actually a computer. And that computer actually runs 24/7, and it runs an algorithm that's asking for an answer. And once it gets that answer, once it gets the answer to that mathematical question, that is when it is when a Bitcoin is created. And Bitcoins are created every 10 minutes. And you know, there is something called the Bitcoin halving that happens every 4 years. But we'll go into Bitcoin halving in another tutorial. And so basically that's what it is. So Bitcoin miners are generally found in these in areas where they are kept cool, like let's say big warehouses. They've got huge filtration systems, air obviously conditioners as well, to try and keep the place cool. And there's also a lot of noise in a Bitcoin mine. I personally have not been to one. I've watched a few videos of Bitcoin mining, but the most important thing is this hardware just runs continually. So there's a huge amount of cost involved, which is also, you know, electricity, to run all these miners.
Well, the development of Bitcoin is such that the guys that do real Bitcoin mining on a commercial scale are big companies with deep pockets. So it's not really something that would be lucrative for the public anymore. So, you know, answering your question is, you know, is this a way to make money with Bitcoin? I don't think mining is really for people, you know, for the public. But there are many other ways that you can make money with Bitcoin. Like I said, investing in Bitcoin, or even investing in Bitcoin companies, Bitcoin related companies. That's something new that's coming for now, where some of your Bitcoin companies are actually being listed on stock exchanges and stuff like that. So you can actually buy into those companies and take part in a growing industry.
Yes, and actually we are seeing quite a few mergers and acquisitions lately. So you know, if you have a good idea, it's a very, you know, you could actually make a lot of money in the future. You know, if you've got an entrepreneur streak in you and you want to start new businesses, I would really look at this industry. I mean, there's people that are starting 10, 20 Bitcoin businesses every year now, to, you know, on all shapes of forms, to really take advantage of this growing industry. Anything, you know, there's all kinds of aspects to Bitcoin, from you know, how to use it, making more usable apps, making merchant apps that Bitcoin can be accepted by merchants, up to Bitcoin security, all kinds of stuff that people are involved with. So, you know, it's a paradise for a business person or entrepreneur. Yes. Now, obviously, there's also, you know, how to buy Bitcoin. I mean, do you know, where do you actually get it from, and what are exchanges?
Well, you've got to buy Bitcoin from somebody that has the Bitcoin. Like we said, the miners create Bitcoin as they are the only people that can create new Bitcoin, and then they sell those Bitcoins to people that actually want them. Most of the selling are taking place through what we call Bitcoin exchanges, but some trading also takes place directly from person to person. A Bitcoin exchange is really just a platform like a stock exchange, where people that want to buy and sell Bitcoin come together, and the exchange facilitates the trade. So in other words, you will buy and sell on the exchange. You wouldn't know who you're buying and selling from, and the exchange actually clears the trade, so that the exchange makes sure that every party receives payment and the Bitcoin. Then you also have another type of exchanges. One example would be a company called localbitcoin.com, where you can find somebody locally. You can actually meet up with them or talk to them over the internet or whatever, and you could sell and buy Bitcoins directly from them. Localbitcoins.com is not really an exchange because it doesn't clear trades. It's more of a platform to put people that are interested in trading with each other together, and
yes,
they would then effect those trades with themselves.
Absolutely. And you know, and it's also pretty safe, but obviously you also do need to realize that you know, you are dealing with a person, and you need to make sure that you know, you do your due diligence.
I think the best thing to do in terms of pricing and in terms of making sure that you receive your Bitcoins is to localbitcoins.com have a nice verification system, so they're a good peer-to-peer system to use. And then obviously one of the regulated exchanges, and I just mentioned that, you know, most of these exchanges are now regulated. We'll talk about regulation a little bit later, but you know, that's something you can do. You can pay in various ways, and yeah.
And actually, the good thing about local Bitcoin, it means that it really means exactly that. So if whatever country you're in, you can actually type in the local Bitcoin, and you'll get the sellers that are or the buyers that are actually in your country. So it's actually very nifty.
Yes, and of course, you know, the sending of Bitcoin from one person to another is seamless. It's very easy to do.
Correct. So, yeah, is Bitcoin legal?
You know, that was a question that was asked a lot in the beginning. We don't get that question that often anymore, because I think, you know, people have seen a lot of documentaries on Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been covered a lot in the media. In actual fact is, yes, Bitcoin is legal in most countries. Actually, I don't know of any country where Bitcoin is completely illegal. There are some rules and regulations on money transfer. In the US, you need a license to effect money transfers. So some of the Bitcoin exchanges are regulated by the local state governments. We've had in the news lately that a lot of that there's 2 Bitcoin exchanges in New York that received licenses. There was just recently one in North Carolina, and most of your big exchanges are regulated. So yes, not only are they legal, but they're also starting to form part of the regulatory system. So this whole myth around Bitcoin that somehow you can do transactions and you can use it for illegal purposes, you know, any cash or any currency or any technology can be used for illegal purposes. Bitcoin cannot be used for that more than anything else. But really, if you do it, you're going to be caught and you're going to go to jail. It's happened many times already. And Bitcoin is completely legal. And in actual fact, is a lot of your governments are starting to, you know, becoming involved in the blockchain and in Bitcoin itself. And Bitcoin is being regulated more and more over the world.
Okay, so what I'm understanding is that Bitcoin is actually, you know, is definitely legal, and but we have to just make sure that people understand Bitcoin is legal, but you do get illegal things that happen around it. So it's
well, I just want to clarify this. Actual fact, that is completely incorrect. If you really think about it logically, Bitcoin cannot be legal or illegal, because Bitcoin is a computer program like email. The uses of Bitcoin can be legal or illegal. So you can use Bitcoin for legal purposes, or you can use it for illegal purposes. But it's perfectly legal to use Bitcoin and it's perfectly, just like it's perfectly legal to use email. It's exactly the same thing. Just as if you're using email for illegal purposes, you'll get into trouble, the same thing will happen to Bitcoin. The same applies to regulation. Bitcoin itself is not something that can be regulated. It's a computer program. It doesn't have a personality or an identity. It's a bunch of numbers in a program. But the users of Bitcoin, the exchanges, the users, the businesses around it, they can all be regulated, and they are being regulated as we speak. Bitcoin exchanges need to, in most jurisdictions, follow your normal anti-money laundering laws. They will ask you, if you open a Bitcoin account with Coinbase or any of the big exchanges, they will ask you for a copy of your ID. They will ask you for proof of address, and they will keep that on file. And they all comply to your anti-money laundering legislation, just like you would when you open a normal bank account. And you know, so yes, Bitcoin is regulated. The activities around Bitcoin can definitely be regulated, and they are being regulated, and it's a good thing for the Bitcoin community and for everybody using it, because this is really a very effective, productive payment system, and it should be regulated.
Exactly. No, excellent, Peter. And you know, now we get to, what are the actual disadvantages of Bitcoin? You know, are there any disadvantages?
I'm thinking about, you know, one of the things that I think that people see as a disadvantage is that Bitcoin should sometimes, it takes a little bit of time for the transactions to clear, because every transaction should be you know, confirmed by the network. But really, that's not as much as not that much of a disadvantage, because it's still 500 times faster than any of the of the banking systems. So really, you know, that is one of the things. The main disadvantage of Bitcoin is the price volatility, because Bitcoin is a new payment system or new currency. Prices can dramatically change from one moment to the next. So when you are holding Bitcoin, you've got to be aware of price, volatility. And also, there's still ongoing development in the Bitcoin software as we go along. Developers are always adding new features, new stuff, and things like that. But again, we can see that as a disadvantage or as an advantage. Some people see it as a disadvantage because, just as you had with email. Let me go back to that example. I don't know if you remember, Tracy, when email first came out, it took about 15 to 20 minutes before you received an email.
Yep.
And then when you started adding documents to it, it could take an hour or two before the document actually came through because of our bandwidth and all of that stuff. But as email developed and as the internet developed, now somebody sends you an email and it's not there within 1/100th of a second, you think it's lost. And I think this is the same thing with the ongoing development in how Bitcoin is used.
Yeah.
Somebody will send you coins and you maybe wait 30 minutes or an hour or whatever before the transaction clears. But I think, in a year or 5 years' time, that will be immediate. It's just the way, technology develops.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, you know what? One of the disadvantages, and really it's just a caution, that if you do put the wrong address in the send area, you want to send Bitcoin to someone, you need to make sure that it is 100% correct, because if you don't do that, that Bitcoin is gone. If you, and I think, that's just, I have my own sort of like checks, only cut and paste these numbers. So those are the kind of things that you need to do. So you just really need to be careful.
Well, the thing is, Bitcoin transactions are irreversible, so they can't be reversed. So you've got to make sure that you pay the right person the right amount.
Correct. In terms of advantages, well, I mean, I can think of 1,000.
Well, the main thing is you've got payment freedom. You can send Bitcoins and receive Bitcoins anywhere in the world at any time. There's no borders, no bureaucracy. I have to ask anybody any permission. So you have your own bank in your pocket.
Absolutely. And exactly. And what about the security of Bitcoin?
Security is a big thing. I think security is a big problem on the internet in general. People are so there's been a few examples of Bitcoin hacking. We've just had one again recently where there was exchanges hacked, and also where there's some of the altcoins where some of the systems they created were hacked, so you need to make sure that you keep your coins. Let's go back to the Bitcoin program itself. The Bitcoin program can't be hacked because the reason being it's run on millions of computers. So you've got to hack every single computer. The same thing. So the actual code can't be hacked. It's impossible. But people can hack companies that provide wallet services, or people can steal, your private keys or something like that, and can steal your coins if you don't keep them safe. And there are many fixes to this that are coming out. But the main thing is to get yourself educated about security and control. As a Bitcoin user, you have full control of your transaction. And if you're working with an outside company, you're actually giving out some of your information to them. You've got to make sure you give your information to actual factories. So there's new systems now being developed where you can actually do your Bitcoin transactions without giving any information to anybody. And we will keep you up to date on that space about new things coming out to make Bitcoin and all of those things even more secure.
Well, for me, I think one of the big advantages of Bitcoin is that Bitcoin is going to change the lives of many unbanked people. There are so many people out there that don't have access to a bank account, and they can't open a bank account. And here is a perfect opportunity to actually do that with Bitcoin.
Well, Tracy, I just want to go back quickly to the thing is, you know, it makes news every time there's some hack or something on a Bitcoin company, but just on the normal banking system called the SWIFT system, which is a wire system between banks. There were just in the news last week that there were hundreds of millions of dollars stolen in the normal banking system because people hacked the banking system. You know, so your banking system are even less secure, and you know, anybody with a credit card has probably experienced some kind of fraud on their card at some point in their lives if they had it, if they've had credit cards for 20 years or plus.
And cloned cards.
Yeah, and all kinds of stuff. So the main things apply. Keep your personal information personal. Don't share it with anybody.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, so can you think of any more advantages? I just know that there's a huge opportunity to make some really, really good money and build wealth with Bitcoin.
Well, the thing is, it's not only that. If you think about Bitcoin acceptance and adoption, Bitcoin transactions are secure and irreversible. So for merchants, companies that accept Bitcoin, they don't have all these. Firstly, they've got low fees. Bitcoin really have almost zero fees on every transaction. So your merchant can actually process at a fraction of the cost. Somebody estimated the other day that if Amazon did all their transactions in Bitcoin, their profits would double because the credit card fees that they have to pay are actually eating up half their profits. So for merchants, it's very easy to accept Bitcoin. There's no fraudulent chargebacks or anything like that. So they don't have to worry about that. And merchants can expand into new markets where people, you were just talking about the unbanked market. You can now sell your goods and services in those markets because people can pay you with Bitcoin, even when they don't have a bank account. And, the other thing about Bitcoin payments can be made without personal information being tied to the transaction, which means there's a very strong potential against identity theft.
Yes, which is a huge problem, identity theft.
Yeah.
Yes, that's interesting, Peter.
Yeah, so that's, you know, I think that's one of the things that people miss, the actual advantage of Bitcoin for merchants. Because, you know, people are always talking about, can we make money with Bitcoin? Can we take money with Bitcoin? Bitcoin wasn't created for people to use it as a money-making scheme. It was created as an effective payment system. And that's what it's, you know, that's what's going to be used for ultimately, because it's peer-to-peer, it's seamless, and it's quick, and it's free. So, you know, anybody can use it. All you need is a wallet, and you can start accepting and sending Bitcoin.
Yes, and just one other thing that I wanted to say is you mentioned that Bitcoin is borderless. I mean, there's huge time, if you send money from bank to bank within your country or from bank to another bank in another country, there are major costs involved. And not only that, changing with different currencies into different currencies, and as well as the time factor. I mean, it can take up to 7 days to get money moved across border.
One of the biggest growth areas of Bitcoin has been remittances, where people are sending money, people that are working in industrialized countries, sending money to the third world. You know, in some countries, they are charged by the money remittances companies like Western Union and MoneyGram. People can pay up to anywhere from 5 to 25% on a transaction.
Yes.
Depending on where they are.
Yes.
With Bitcoin, it doesn't cost a cent. You can send someone those Bitcoins immediately. And now, what has happened, there's so many places that have created Bitcoin debit cards and stuff that can be linked to your Bitcoin wallet or your Bitcoin account, or that you can top up the card with Bitcoins. That you can really use Bitcoins anywhere for anything. If there is and you can go to an ATM, you can go withdraw local cash, or you can just use Bitcoin to pay locally in some places, so and really there's nothing that you can't buy without. If you're earning Bitcoin, you can buy anything. You can,
yes, absolutely. You don't need a fancy ATM or that type of thing.
You don't need a bank account to live anymore in this world. All you need is Bitcoin. Yeah.
Actually, that's very good. That's a very good statement, Peter. You don't need a bank anymore. You need Bitcoin.
You can keep your own bank in your pocket.
Yes. Well, I love that. Anything more to add? I mean, I'm sure people are going to say, what if they want to learn more, you know, where to now? How can they get help?
Well, you know, getting help is very, very easy. Go to the link at the bottom of this video or in the description in the blog and go look for that link that says the Bitcoin Believers Manifesto. Click on it, get a free copy of the manifesto, read it, but also when you sign up, when you're getting your copy, you will be signed up onto your mailing list. Keep your eyes open for your email. We are going to help you for free. We are going to, this is the first video. The second video will be out shortly. And we will, you know, go into Bitcoin in more depth, and we will start covering certain aspects of Bitcoins with every video, and in effect create a chain of training videos that will help you to really understand Bitcoin. We'll go into depth into this, and all you have to do is just subscribe, and it won't cost you anything. And yeah, and we're looking forward to helping you. Go to our website, go to our Facebook page, and join our YouTube channel. All the links will be in the description, and share with all your friends and family. And the last thing is, if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave your comments below. That is the one thing that we ask of you. We are providing this service for free. What we want from you is to really be interactive with us. Ask us questions, make comments. If you think we're talking nonsense, please say so. We won't delete your comments. We are open to criticism. We are just normal people who are interested in this. And we are trying to spread the word to everybody else because we think this technology will change the world. You know, we want to do a better job than we might have done in this video. And also, if you have any questions or anything that you want answered, please leave a comment. Please comment below, and we will try and answer every single question as best we can and address some of those questions. Or if you have something that you want specific training on, put that in the comments and we will make a video about it. That is our commitment. We will try to cover as much as possible, humanly possible.
Absolutely. But you know what? I don't think I'm a normal person. I think I'm just an amazing person who's a Bitcoin believer. and we need more people like that.
Bitcoin believers, here we go.
Yes, Bitcoin believers, here we go. So thanks very much.
Tracy, I'm now very excited to make video number 2. And like I said, you know, guys, watch your emails. Video number 2 will be released shortly. And it will give you even more information on what Bitcoin is and yeah, you can profit from Bitcoin.
Yes, absolutely. So until then, cheerio.
Good day.